Hi, everybody. Welcome to Strong Christian Female. And I'm here today to talk about something that I love. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little late to the party on this, and bear with me anyway. I want to talk about Advent. I wasn't raised doing Advent. I didn't know what Advent was. In fact, I didn't know anything about it until a very good friend of mine, when we had little kids, I kept seeing this cute little homemade, pine cones and pine, not leaves, but branches and like little things. And this basically candles and this wreath, this kind of makeshift wreath on their table with candles. And I was like, what is that? And she's like, oh, it's an Advent wreath. And I'm like, what's an Advent wreath? So we're both Christians, but she celebrated Advent and I didn't. I wasn't raised celebrating Advent. And so I started to be curious about it. So out of my curiosity, I started learning about Advent, and I want to tell you things that I've learned over the years. Advent is awesome, first of all. It takes the focus off the stuff and the gifts and all the things that we associate with Christmas and the baking, which none of those things are sinful, okay? But it puts the emphasis back on Jesus. But I always thought that Advent meant like we're celebrating Jesus' birthday and we should spend 4 weeks thinking about how wonderful it is and the story of Bethlehem and the star and the angels and the Virgin Mary and all of the things and Herod kicking them out and really emphasizing on the joy of the season, the hope of the season, how the angels celebrated, all these beautiful elements that are all true. But if you do a little research, actually, what you'll find is that Advent wasn't really intended to celebrate Christ's first coming. It was really meant to celebrate Christ's return, his second coming. We are preparing for his arrival, not on Christmas Day, acknowledging he arrived, but acknowledging that he was born and is coming back, his future arrival. That was really more of the emphasis. So what I've read about is that in the first centuries of the church, they had massive baptisms in January on Epiphany. Now, if you're saying, what's Epiphany? I'm with you. Epiphany is this beautiful thing that I just love it. I love it. I actually keep my Christmas tree up now till Epiphany. Please forgive me if I get the date wrong. It is 12 days after Christmas, thus the 12 days of Christmas. Christmas Day to Epiphany is the 12 days of Christmas. I know some of you are going, oh, that's the 12 days of Christmas. I love history. So the 12 days of Christmas is Christmas to Epiphany, and Epiphany celebrates the arrival of the Magi, the three kings. It is meant to celebrate the incarnation, not the incarnation, he was always holy, he was always God, but the recognition that Jesus is the Christ, he is the Son of the living God. It's just a recognition, okay? It's not like when they showed up, oh, he became the Son of God. Don't conflate the two things. That would be weird. But to recognize that even the kings of the world recognize this little boy as the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And it's the recognition of earthly leaders recognizing God's own Son on earth. So you have Epiphany, you have Christmas Day, the 12 days in between, the 12 days of Christmas, and you have Advent. So Advent was culminated on this day on Epiphany when lots of people would be baptized. And really, again, the emphasis was on their choosing to follow Jesus, the living God. And they are living out their life on earth, awaiting his second coming, awaiting his arrival. Advent stands for arrival. So he did arrive, and he's going to come back again. We're preparing for his second arrival. So most Advent traditions, including my own, really recognize the Christmas story. Again, all those elements, Mary, angels, Herod, Jesus, all the things. And that's wonderful. Those represent hope and joy and all the things the season should represent up to Christmas. But really, even though traditionally now, in our country at least, Advent is celebrated between Thanksgiving and Christmas, essentially, the month leading up to Christmas Day. It's really meant to be a longer celebration, or a celebration that shifts and ends at Epiphany, because what we're going to do is celebrate his second coming. We're looking forward to this living God coming back for us to judge the living and the dead, and to really reign and be Lord. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. Emphasize that's coming again. Joy to the world. The Lord has come. Let earth receive her king. That did happen, but it's going to happen again. These are not events that will not be repeated. It will be different when he comes, ruling and reigning. It will be different in the way he appears. He will not appear as a child again. He will appear as God of the universe, King of kings, Lord of lords. But this is such an exciting time. Celebrate Advent because he's coming again, you guys. We aren't going to have to live this way forever. He didn't just come and can live inside us now, but he's coming again to judge the living and the dead, and it's going to be so beautiful. In addition, we can celebrate Epiphany, this beautiful earthly recognition of King of Kings, Lord of Lords, God's own Son on earth. And again, that ends the holiday season officially for anybody who follows Christ, at least in our country for sure. It ends that celebration in the recognition of his deity, the recognition of who he was and how he was worthy of priceless gifts, and how they bowed before him and they yielded their life and they recognized, you are the King of Kings, you are the Lord of Lords, this little boy sitting on his mama's lap. So as you celebrate Advent, or learn about Advent, or try to figure out what this season is all about, I've listed a few things below, including a wonderful book about the names of Jesus. It's not too late to jump in, okay? This is one of those things where I think we feel like, oh man, we missed it. Dang it. No. It's a whole season. Jump in. Explain to your kids, hey, we're going to do this. Or explain to your roommate, or explain to yourself. Do it in your room. And just stare at that beautiful candle that's lit. And there's 4 candles and one in the middle. One's for Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. And the 4 candles each represent a week. Just light the first 2. Who cares if you're a little late to the party? Don't leave the party just because you're going to be 5 minutes late. Come on in. So come on in. Let's celebrate Advent together and recognize he came, he's still with us, and he's coming again.